Well, this is Impromptu Friday. However, I thought I would come earlier and got you going because when I have a question from my friend Robert, then I'm ready to go. And he says, what was the first ever Toastmaster speech about? My first speech was actually what was it? I think it was long, very, very, very long ago. It was back in the 90s, in the 90, probably 93, 94. And I talked about, at that time, it was an icebreaker. And what I did at that time, I talked about how I had lived in a farm. And in that farm, there was a lot of houses that had been destroyed. And my grandmother had told me that all those houses were for rich people. It was like a hacienda. The Spaniards, a long time ago, had an hacienda there. And then, when after the revolution, then they left, and then came during the War of Independence, the Spaniards left, and then after that there was a revolution, and there were other people living in that hacienda, but because of the revolution, they also left. So, but people, instead of living in those haciendas, they took out all the belongings that they had there and then destroyed the houses, which was a very sad thing because those houses were beautiful and there were a lot of uh, tradition there from the Spaniards. So that was my first speech. My grandmother told me that it had been very nice to have lived there, but they lived apart from there in a farm. Actually, we it was a rural Mexican town, and from there we went to the city. So I talk about all that. I talk about how my childhood was in that place, and I loved it so much. And then when I left, I remember saying goodbye to my grandma, and it was very painful. I didn't want to leave her, and I actually, when we were driving and we were sitting in the back of the truck on top of all the furniture, my dad was driving, and I started crying. And my dad stopped, and all my siblings laughed at me because they were very happy to go to the city. I was happy about going to the city, but I was not happy about not being able to see my grandma. I don't know, somehow I saw her cry because we were leaving, and I started crying too. Those are my memories. That was my speech that time. That's a long, long time ago. See you next time. Till then, have a good week and live being perceptive and proactive on everything you do. Goodbye.